Hi, Corinna. Happy to see more S's from you. Well done. Let's take a look at what you said. Okay. School children, teachers, more influence than parents. Okay. Expert throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether teachers or parents have a great impact on children's intelligence and social skills. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from the UK and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay. So, a few things. First of all, it should be experts, and here there should have been a greater, because that's what we're concerned about, who has a greater impact. Both sides also, not with an S, okay? Now, the other, that's a little bit about grammar. The other thing is that it really asks you very specifically to what extent you agree or disagree. So, I would like you to answer that in your introduction. You should make your position clear so that the examiner knows where you stand on this topic throughout the entire essay. And for you to make it clear throughout, you really should state it in your introduction. All right? Moving straight ahead then. Okay. There is ample evidence that teachers have a heavy workload in a big class. This means it is extremely hard for a teacher to develop every child's intelligence and social skills in a busy classroom. The central reason behind this is threefold. Firstly, teachers sometimes need to spend a lot of time in disciplines, especially not in disciplines, with discipline, especially misbehavior and bullying issues. Secondly, teachers have VE to cope with the course syllabus, which they need to spend on which they need to spend tremendous time in preparation for teaching. All right, wait a minute, what's going on? Okay. Secondly, teachers have to cope with the course syllabus, which they need to spend tremendous time preparing before the class. There we go. That's how you could do this. Okay. Thirdly, although there are some group activities in class, half of the children run away because of children's concentration. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that over 60% of children do not know what they learn from school, and some of them do not like to go to school. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the teacher has a key role to impact children's learning, but they undoubtedly do not have enough time to care for everyone's learning development. Okay, although there is a case for teachers enriching children's development, the impact of parents cannot be overstated. This is largely because they have a quality relationship, and parents' life attitudes and positive behaviors can not thrive, that's the wrong word here, can develop, can foster, maybe that's what you mean, that would be a good word. They can foster their children's intelligence and social and emotional development. These are two things. Children's intelligence and their social and emotional development. Okay. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that over 80% of parents always take their own children to the library and museums to encourage them to read storybooks and participate in some particular projects like science from a young age. Also, they are eager to take their children to attend group activities like volunteering work in the community. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that parents have a tremendous impact on children's well-being. Well, is that what we're talking about? Their well-being? I'm not sure. Let's take a look again. Their intelligence and social development. I think well-being is probably not the best word here. Okay? It's not a synonym for what the essay is talking about. All right, so from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although teachers devote themselves to nurturing the school children, the role of parents is much more significant, as their life attitude and positive guidance have always been influencing their offspring. All right, that's good. Okay, now, here's the thing. Okay, so I already mentioned to you that I wanted you to take a position. I actually didn't know what your position was until I got to the very end of the essay, which is what I don't want to happen. I want to know what the position is from the beginning. It's not a surprise. You're not keeping me in suspense. The examiner just basically needs to know, okay? So, now that I read it, I can clearly see that you are in favor of parents and you don't think that teachers have influence. That's fine if you're 100% in favor of parents. You did spend a lot of time talking about teachers, though. Maybe you could have talked about in what ways they do influence children. You basically just spent an entire paragraph saying how they don't, okay? So, I mean, that's fine. You can be 100%. No one said you can't be 100%. But you could have at least developed it in a way where you could have at least said, you know, that, I don't know, something about them having some sort of impact, okay? And the reason I say that is because, I mean, some people do think they have more influence. Like, why would they say that? So at least kind of acknowledge that and try to develop that a little bit as well, okay? Okay. All right, so I've moved on to your task 1. It's the bar chart, Intel, and AMD. So let's see what you said. The chart shows the sales volume of Intel and AMD. Careful with that E there. By chip manufacturer. The chart shows the sales volume of AMD and of Intel and AMD chips in France in 2017. All right, careful. There's something happening here. I'm concerned that maybe you've misunderstood the task. All right. There's no "the" in front of the title. So, regarding Intel, it rose gradually from January to March from 50,000 to under 100,000 respectively. Okay? Its sales had a 50% fall in the subsequent month from under 100 to around 35,000, no S, and reached a peak in June at approximately 125,000, which was the highest point over the year. However, it plunged more than 3 times from approximately 125,000 to 35,000. After that, it grew steadily and had a plateau between August and October. Okay, what happened after October? There's still like 3 more months. So what happened in, well, not 3, there's 2. What happened in November, December, okay? But that's fine so far. Turning to AMD, again, no "the." It skyrocketed from under 30,000 to over 100,000. It plummeted in March. When did this happen? In January and February? Please make that clear. It plummeted in March just below 50,000 to just below. And finally hit the bottom in June. What was that bottom? Don't you want to tell me here that it was nothing. There were no sales recorded. Okay? That's a really important piece of information. Nevertheless, it jumped dramatically from June to July, reaching over 100,000. It fell considerably by half? No. What do you mean here? It fell considerably with a half to approximately 10. Well, that's not really clear. I don't understand this. I don't know what that means, okay? And I don't have it in front of me to kind of check your data. All right. Overall, Intel had higher volume of sales, not more and higher. So Intel had higher volume of sales than AMD. The sales of, careful, Intel fluctuated for the first 7 months and showed an upward trend since then. AMD, no "the," showed fluctuation again, no "the," for the entire year and hit the lowest point in the middle of the year. Okay. Pretty good. You've covered the main points, but again, I want you to remember that in a bar chart like this where it's chronological and you have the whole year, I think the most important things to mention are the beginning, the end, and then those key points in the middle. Like, so I have no idea where the year ended. Okay? Here you stopped in October, here you stopped in November. So when you have a chronological chart like this that shows a period of time, it's kind of like leaving the movie before the movie's over. I mean, that's kind of what happens. I have no idea how this story ends, okay? So make sure you keep that information in. Like I said, the beginning, the end, and of course, all those key points in the middle. All right, so nice work. Now what you need to do is correct these essays. add to your error correction list, and send everything back to us with your new essays. We'll be here. We'll be waiting for them. So good luck with your next writing assignment.